whole wave, this whole movement, everything that's happening in streetwear in Paris and Tokyo, all that started in that crazy office park. Louis Vuitton, Virgil Abloh, like everything that's going on with Supreme, like this whole idea of streetwear as high fashion started at the DC office in San Diego.
I think anything pre-internet took a lot of work. Music and fashion, all of it took digging, time, community. Skateboarding wasn't corporate yet. Streetwear was just starting to realize itself. Back then, because of the lack of readily available information, it was just pure creative alignment.
I think skateboarders and artists get along because they're the same thing, you know, and skateboarding is an inherently creative pursuit.
By nature, they use things that aren't meant to be skated and make really good use out of it. People ask me for prints of the tri-flip that Kalis did in 1999. Like, that was 19 years ago. You know, I can't go out and do a commercial job for like Sony. No one's hitting me up for that 20 years from now.
I mean, skateboarding is great right now. It always is great. It's not a brand that's making that happen. It's like the fucking weird kid in the parking lot that's making that happen. It's never gonna change. It's like at the end of the day, it's like it's all about what happens at that curb.
With skateboarding, you don't celebrate only the athlete or only like the contest. We celebrate kind of the world around it. The culture really was from the board and the artists that made that, to the music we were listening to the designers of clothes.
It started with art first. If you looked at gallery shows, you started seeing highbrow and lowbrow artists start to come together in a gallery. Now you're seeing brands come together the same way.
Alleged Gallery started as an accident. I like stumbled on a storefront that I was just gonna use as my house. I saw a big gap in what was being exhibited in New York. Everyone from Mark Gonzalez, Ed Templeton, Thomas Campbell, Sonic Youth, Jim Jarmusch. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of artists showed their work there. We were taking cues from what was happening in skate graphics and skate imagery, like what was happening at World Industries, Big Brother, and then taking that and then turning that into art.
At the time, that was the only gallery in the entire world that was showing art done by skateboarders. So I give Aaron a lot of credit for doing something that blew the doors wide open for an entire culture. You know, all stuff that basically is kind of the precursor to what DC Shoes was doing. Shep, Blaze, at all. Here's my shirt design. I changed ideas. You know, faxes. People were sending faxes back then. I made this sticker of Andre the Giant. It sort of went viral before the internet. That led to me falling in love with street art. The culture of skateboarding really opened my eyes to the possibility for things outside of the traditional, and it was the first time art really connected with me culturally. It really expanded for me what could be done as an artist. It was all about irreverence towards the establishment. What drew me to DC was the spirit of Damon and Ken. They were young, smart guys building stuff that I thought was cool.
Shepard and I, we just became friends just naturally because we're both into same kind of music and skateboarding and art and creativity, and we were charting new territory, and we didn't really have a playbook, but we had this intuition that what we were doing was right. Him and I just said, okay, let's just do it.
When I did my collab with DC, it did better than they had expected. That, I think, made Damon really excited that there was possibility in the marketplace for more of this. I was kind of the guinea pig.
Damon had a vision and really hit home with it.
I knew that Damon takes a deep interest in anything he's involved in, and that my perspective as an artist would not be ignored, that this would be a genuine collaboration.
They're creatives. Let them get creative with building the shoe. They were way ahead of the curve. I mean, now it's what you do, right? But it's not what you did back then.
DC really kind of helped to explore working with artists as individuals and as the artists themselves, as entities.
The collaborations that have happened have all been naturally because we're all doing this because we love doing it.
Believe me, there's thousands of artists out there. It's about finding the right ones. We took the time and effort to be knowledgeable about what we were doing. We weren't just like, oh, Cause, who's that? Okay, whatever, he's good on a shoe, great.
I bought one of his early books, and I had bought some figures on eBay. After I won an auction, I got a message, like whatever eBay's version of DMing was then, from Cause, like, thank you for supporting my stuff. It was like an amazing gesture on behalf of him, like so humble and cool, and it just opened a door where we could build creatively.
It was in 2000. I was getting divorced and I was living on Phil Frost's couch. And Damon came over one day to like look at Phil's studio. And I was like waking up. We just caught a rap, you know what I mean? And became like friends from there. My experience with the DC collaboration was completely like a project between friends. I mean, there were contracts that needed to be signed and business stuff that had to be done, but it never felt like working for a brand.
Aaron was the last artist project that I did, and for me it was a perfect bookend because, you know, he was a catalyst for that whole scene to organize.
The whole thought behind the low top was that at that time Clarks weren't making it. They had made it in the 60s, and Damon and I were like, they're not making it, let's just make it. Which, after we did it, Clark started making it.
From Obey to Cause, Supreme, it wasn't like this staged strategy. It was all very organic.
When DC Shoes was developing, it was really a company with very few resources compared to the bigger shoe companies. At the time that I did the collab with DC, brand collaborations really weren't happening much. It seemed like kind of an insane move. It was a very risky proposition.
We did a lot of things that wouldn't be readily adopted by the market or by the retailers or the reps, but we knew it was the right thing instinctually, so we keep driving on these ideas.
Damon and I have talked for years and years and years about how to use a commercial vehicle to really push to the forefront the kind of culture you want to see thrive. I see DC as an incubator of the kind of culture that we all sort of take for granted now. It's not just a business move.
With any of the collaborations or projects that we do for Commonwealth, it's usually, again, a very organic thing. I don't think it's something that's forced.
For us to do a collaboration with Omar or with Commonwealth, it's not really just about the collaboration itself. We should definitely look at how does DC look through the lens of these brands and these brand partners. I want to see what DC looks like through the lens of Omar now. I'm curious to see how that design language looks.
Damon called me about a year ago and said he's coming back to work with the team and work back at DC, and I said that's amazing. And he asked me if I wanted to work on a Lynx. I'm gonna take it and make it the Buscemi Lynx. DC's where I got my PhD in this whole business, and it's only right for us to work on something together.
My parents had always told me that I was wasting my time doing stickers and street art. It was never gonna go anywhere, and I sort of felt like, hey Mom, I don't see your signature shoe out there.